Indonesia is the world's largest pineapple producer, with an annual output of around 7.1 billion pounds. The main growing areas are located in Lampung and South Sumatra, where the hot, humid climate and fertile red basaltic soil provide ideal conditions for pineapple cultivation. During harvest, farmers use sharp knives to cut the fruit close to the base, keeping a short stem to prevent juice from leaking. Once picked, the pineapples are gently placed in trays or baskets before being quickly transported to the sorting station. Indonesian pineapples are mainly exported to the EU, Japan, China, and the US. In addition to fresh fruit, canned pineapples and pineapple juice make out a significant portion of the country's export revenue from pineapples. Hand harvesting allows farmers to pick the fruit at the right ripeness, preserving the outer skin and avoid denting the eyes, an essential requirement in exporting whole pineapples. Properly harvested fruit retains its sweetness, crunchiness, and fragrance throughout the shipping process. Fruits are a familiar part of our daily diet, but few people know the journey they go through before reaching consumers. Behind every ton of harvested fruit lies an impressive process. In today's video, we'll explore how farmers harvest some of the world's most widely produced fruits. Mexico produces around 4.3 billion pounds of mangoes annually and is the world's largest mango exporter. Key growing regions include Sinaloa, Chiapas, and Nayarit, which specializes in famous varieties like Ataulfo and Kent. Mangoes are harvested once they reach market ripeness, when the skin changes color and the seed is hardened. Farmers use specialized nets to carefully pick each mango without bruising. The mangoes are then gently placed into plastic crates to minimize scratching. Harvesting typically takes place in the early morning to avoid the intense heat and maintain freshness. After picking, mangoes are preliminarily sorted right in the orchard, based on size, ripeness, and skin color before being transported to processing and packaging facilities. Japanese peaches are famous worldwide for their delicate sweetness, fragrant aroma, and juicy texture. Considered a premium gift, Japan harvests around 287 million pounds of peaches annually, mainly from July to early September. So how are peaches harvested in Japan? Before picking, farmers gently lift and feel each fruit to check its firmness and skin tension, signs that it has reached its peak freshness. Indonesia is the largest coconut producer in the world, with an annual yield of around 37.7 billion pounds. Major growing regions include Lampung, Java, and Sulawesi, where tropical climates and sandy coastal soils provide ideal year-round conditions for coconut cultivation. Coconuts are mostly harvested manually. For trees ranging from 8 to 15 meters tall, harvesters climb the trunks using ropes tied around their waists and feet, skillfully reaching the coconut clusters and cutting them down with a knife. Indonesian coconuts are widely consumed in China, the US, and India. In addition to fresh coconuts, coconut milk, coconut oil, and coir are also major export products from coconuts. Bananas are amongst the most popular fruits in the world. In India, the leading banana producing country, around 76.9 billion pounds are harvested annually, most of which are consumed domestically, with the rest exported to the Middle East, Asia, and Europe. Banana harvesting in states like Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra are mostly done by hand, usually in teams of two. One person cuts the bunch with a sharp knife while the other supports it from below to prevent bruising upon impact with the ground. Each bunch can weigh up to 60 pounds. Once cut down, the stem is trimmed, the bananas are sorted on site and then transported to the processing centre. This harvesting method helps protect the delicate peel, prevents scratches, and extends shelf life. Picking bananas while they are still green but mature allows them to ripen evenly during transport, arriving at their destination with the right sweetness and texture for consumers. Brazil is the largest orange producer in the world, yielding around 35.7 billion pounds annually. The state of Sao Paulo alone accounts for over 75% of the country's total output and plays a central role in the global citrus industry. Oranges are mainly harvested by hand. Workers gently twist the fruit off the stem using their hands. For fruit on tall trees, aluminium ladders are used. Though the process is fast and efficient, great care is taken to avoid tearing the peel. Manual harvesting helps preserve the fruit's shape, keeps the skin intact, and maintains the juiciness and natural sweetness. Picking at the right level of ripeness also helps to reduce post-harvest losses and extends shelf life. Did you know that Spain produces over 2 billion pounds of watermelon each year? It is also the world's largest exporter of watermelon, supplying large volumes to European markets such as Germany, France, and the Netherlands. So how do Spanish farmers harvest watermelons? The harvest season typically runs from June to August, when the fruit is ripe. The tendrils near the stem turn brown, the skin loses its shine, and tapping the fruit produces a deep, hollow sound. Farmers use knives to cut each fruit from the vine, then pass them along a human chain across the field, forming a manual harvesting line. The watermelons are neatly laid out in rows for preliminary inspection before being loaded onto trucks waiting at the edge of the field for transport to packing centres. Tomatoes are consumed globally with high demand, especially in the processing industry for sauces, tomato paste, and other canned products. China is the world's leading tomato producer, with an annual yield of around 134 billion pounds, primarily from regions like Xinjiang, Hebei, and Shandong. In large-scale commercial farms, particularly those growing tomatoes for processing, farmers use specialized harvesting machines. These machines harvest entire plants and use a shaking mechanism to separate ripe tomatoes from the stems efficiently. The tomatoes are then manually sorted to remove any damaged, cracked, or underripe fruit before being transferred via conveyor belts into a large collection bin. In the US, apples are mostly harvested in the fall, from late August to early November, depending on the variety and growing region. Apples are hand-picked to avoid bruising, usually by lifting and twisting gently to keep the stem intact. Harvesters carry picking bags worn on their chest, which are emptied into large collection bins. The US is the second largest apple producing country in the world, with an annual output of around 10 billion pounds. Washington State stands out as the country's top apple producing region, accounting for around 65% of national production. Other key apple producing states include New York, Michigan, and California. Now let's explore the impressive papaya harvesting process in India. India is the world's largest papaya producer, harvesting around 13.8 billion pounds each year. The main growing regions are in the Andhra Pradesh and Gujarat, where the hot and humid climate allows papayas to grow year-round. Papayas are harvested where their skin begins to shift from green to pale yellow. The surface is smooth and taut, and the faint aroma is present. Farmers use small knives or simply twist the stem by hand, before gently placing the fruit into padded baskets to avoid bruising. Papayas are delicate, easily scratched, and prone to sap leakage, so gentle handling is essential. Some large farms even sort the fruit right in the field before sending it to packaging centres. Now let's move on to a visually striking and widely enjoyed fresh fruit, the plum. Since plums are highly sensitive to bruising and quality loss from impact, farmers usually harvest them in the early morning while it's still cool. In Spain, plums are harvested entirely by hand from June to August, when the skin turns deep red or golden yellow. The surface is glossy and the fruit yields slightly to pressure. Workers gently twist each plum off the stem and place it into padded crates to prevent damage. Spain is one of Europe's key plum producers, with an annual output of around 371 million pounds. Plums are amongst Spain's major fruit exports, generating around $270 million annually for local farmers. When harvesting, they carefully twist the fruit with both hands and lift it off the branch, minimizing any risk of dropping or scratching. Each peach is then placed in a soft, padded tray, never stacked, and immediately moved to a cool storage area to preserve freshness. Pears are a specialty fruit of Italy, especially in the Emilia-Romagna region, often called the pear capital of Europe. Italy produces over 1.5 billion pounds of pears annually, with popular varieties like the Abate Fettel, Williams, and Conference. The ideal harvest time is when the fruit reaches its standard size. The skin turns light yellow and a gentle aroma develops. as well as the firmness being just right. Farmers pick each pear by hand, using a light twist to detach the fruit without damaging branches or causing leaves to fall. This is especially important for younger or fragile trees.